Good morning. Good morning. Wanted to talk about guitars today. Guitars for women. Why do I say guitars for women? Let me show you. Um, I often say that men are better instrumentalists because they have bigger hands and they jerk off. Sorry, but it's true. But you know, tools, I think a masculine trait is to use tools and to use that focus with tools. But I don't necessarily mean that, you have to be a man to have masculine traits, right? Like, I feel like my ability to use tools as a woman is part of my masculine side, but it doesn't take away from my womanhood. But I do want to say that if guitars were made for women, if they were better made to fit women, then we might be better instrumentalists. So I'm going to try to show you. I don't really have. I'm going to try to see how I can set it up because I did not think this through. I have both. Uh, uh, um, both the microphone that I need to keep over here because my phone um, cannot just record by itself. It has to have a microphone now. That's how the cookie crumbles. Uh, and I don't have anything to rest. I guess I could do this pillow to rest my phone on so I can show you. Okay, you can see me now. So this acoustic guitar is actually a child's guitar, a child's learning guitar. It's not a ukulele. Really ticks me off when people ask me if it's a ukulele. Kind of like when people ask me if my dog is a Pomeranian. It's like the little cutesy stuff. It's like in between. Right? She's not a Pomeranian. She's an American Eskimo. It's in between a Pomeranian and a Husky. So this is not a ukulele. This is a children's guitar. It's in between a ukulele and a guitar. It is a standard guitar. It's probably a little out of tune. It gets out of tune a lot. But it is um, the perfect length of the neck for me to move my fingers around, and it's not going to um, be a stretch, right? So it's a smaller version. I feel like with standard acoustic guitars, they're mainly meant for men, and so that's why you see more male guitarists than you do female guitarists because we often get discouraged just from the make of the guitar. So this is a baby guitar. It's easy for me to play, right? But the standard guitars, I don't have one on me because I would never play it. They're huge and I always feel like a little dwarf trying to play, I have to hunch over the guitar, but this is a natural feel. So what I would encourage guitar makers to do is actually to make a brand of guitar that is this size instead of the standard acoustic. I can't really, like I said, I can't really show you sizes, but that's up against an electric guitar, which I'll talk about in a second. But what I love about acoustic guitars is that as a songwriter, I like it. I like to write songs on the acoustic guitar, but I like to perform on electric guitars because on electric guitars you can experiment with different sounds like wow wow, the wah wah, and different pedals have different effects, and you could do slide guitar sounds a whole lot better on electric in my opinion than it does on an acoustic. I mean, you can get into the different types of acoustic guitars. That's a whole nother story. But overall, I prefer to perform on electric guitars and write songs on acoustic guitars. Seeing performances with seeing performances with acoustic guitars kind of bores me, if I'm being honest. Just like musicians of the world out there, it kind of bores me. So if you could use an electric in your performance, then I would much rather come to your show. But for singing, songwriting, and just sort of like singing by the campfire, acoustic is great. I saw this TikTok this weekend that was talking about energy work, where this guy said if he had a stomach ache, he would use energy, like manipulate his energy. Hold on one second. Manipulate his energy to where he would take the stomach ache and then sort of like in a Reiki way, I guess, move it up to his throat, and then he would like feel himself gag and then push out the stomach ache. And he said that that usually helps in stomach aches. And it made me think of how I connect to my guitar. So what I love about the acoustic guitar that you don't get from the electric guitar is the vibration. So whenever I see, this is what I'm talking about like made for women. It's like, you also have the boob. I'll talk about that later. But first I want to talk about the vibrations. So, if I strum a chord, then those vibrations on the back of here, you'll have vibrations in this chamber, right? And so you can feel the vibrations on the back of this guitar. And those vibrations rest on your stomach, right? So they're essentially shaking things out of your stomach. And it's interesting because everyone writes songs differently, but the way I write songs is just to like strum a chord and sing how I'm feeling. Good morning! Something like that, right? And so thinking about that energy work, it was like the way I write songs shakes up, like those vibrations of the guitar shake up energy out of my throat, right? For me personally, it's a little difficult for me to express myself. My parents were very cerebral, and like feelings weren't really encouraged, and so it's really hard for me to express my feelings, express myself, express what I truly believe, how I truly think. And not just my parents, but there were other factors in that. Grew up in the Bible Belt, so you kind of had to hide what you believed in. And I was just kind of weird. So I would hide a lot of things. And I'm still pretty uncomfortable. It's like I am a good performer with other people's songs. I placed in karaoke competitions. So I have sort of a stage presence, but when it comes to my own songs, I get really nervous because it's that expressing of oneself that really scares me, really is out of my comfort zone, right? But I do like to write songs in the hopes that people will like buy them who are able to get on a stage and sing someone else's song. It's something I'm working through, but songwriting isn't something I pursue as a career. It's something that helps me with my feelings, and something I kind of view as like an extra way I can make money. If I ever wrote a screenplay about a band, for instance, then I would have those songs. I wouldn't have to copyright someone else's, right? So I don't think writing songs are in vain, but I just don't want to like tour the country singing about my heartache, right? But some people are good about that. And I'm like 35 going on 36. I'll be 36 in October. So that's not exactly the pop star that the music industry is looking for, right? Anyway, so therapeutically, to help with my feelings, it's kind of like a form of therapy, music therapy. Like I said, if you strum, then it helps shake up the things inside you and come out through the voice. So acoustic guitar is great for that. If you are going through something difficult, then playing guitar has really helped me in certain times. Sometimes it can be like if you're really depressed, you don't want to do the things you love, so you don't want to play guitar, right? So that's where, like, I'm not really a fan of performing a lot of covers, but I don't even like performing. I know, it's complicated, because I just said, like, I can perform other people's songs. Anyway, I do covers because let me retract. If you are depressed and finding it hard to connect with your instrument, because it is like a connection, it is like a personal connection. If you're finding it hard to connect with your instrument, then you might try covers of songs that express how you're feeling at the time, so that you can get that vibration and bring that up into your voice. Even though it's not like your words, even though it's not like your melody, it can still be therapeutic to help you shake up any energy inside of you. But sometimes it's even hard to muster up that, right? So I definitely get it. What was I going to say? Hi! I'm talking about the difference between acoustic and electric guitars. And I was talking about how the vibrations of the guitar helps shake up energy inside of us to bring up how we feel inside, our like expression. But I also want to talk about, we were talking about how guitars are made, and I believe that they're not made for women. So I'm trying to be helpful to guitar manufacturers and tell them how to make guitars easier for women. So not only do they need to be smaller, like this children's guitar, and if you are a woman, I would suggest getting a children's guitar and not one of those big, like, things you have to, like, hunk over down, Get something that fits you comfortably. And a lot of people will say it's a ukulele. You can tell them to F off. It's a children's guitar. So children's learning guitar for a woman. But also, if you can find an Ovation children's learning guitar would be perfect. That is like the perfect model that guitar manufacturers should be making for women, because my first guitar was an Ovation, and it was an acoustic guitar. It was like in the family. I think my mom got it for her graduation and passed it on to me. But the Ovations, they have curved backs, so this is like a flat back, right? And a lot of men have flat stomachs, right? So with that Ovation, it has that curve to it, so it's like instead of flat, right? So that helped with boob and hip. It was like the perfect place for boob and hip. The flat ones are a little clunky, right? But Ovations fit a woman's curves. Melissa Etheridge uses an Ovation. I don't know if any other famous musicians use it often, but that's just one example of a musician who uses Ovations. So if you were to make a woman's guitar, make it a curved back like an Ovation and smaller like a children's guitar, and you would sell those things. You would get more sales. The reason why you don't sell to women is because it's not made for women. Also, a challenge I've had is going into like guitar stores and guys like mansplaining. It is like a man's world, and you have to get used to that sort of thing. But, they can, because it's made for them, because they're taller, they're bigger, their stomachs are flatter, they can maneuver these instruments better, just because it fits them better. And so it just leads to more mansplaining. So if you made guitars for women, then you would give them more confidence in their instruments. They would be more likely to buy them, more likely to play them. Just a thought, just a thought. More equality in our instruments. I also want to say, I'm not going to pull it out, but with electric guitars, not only are they fun for sound, but they are better made for women. It is fun to like rock out on electric guitars, but they have a flatter back, and the curve of them, like this type of curve, fits a little better, and they're lighter, and the strings aren't as hard on your fingers. The strings are thicker on acoustic guitars, and they're thinner on electric guitars. So, if you can't find a children's guitar, I would recommend actually getting an electric guitar, not an acoustic guitar, if you are a woman. Last thing I want to say is just a small little anecdote. I do name my guitars because it is a connection. Like, I feel like our ability to play certain instruments is based off of like a spiritual connection with that instrument. I connect a lot to rhythm guitar. I had a piano my whole life, and I wish I had learned how to play the piano, but I just did not connect with that instrument. You have to make that connection. Even with live videos, cameras, you have to make that connection. I'm making a connection with you right now. I have to like envision someone behind that screen to make that connection, right? That is something I didn't always understand when I started a YouTube channel, is connecting with your technology, right? It is really important. I think it's an underrated thing. But naming. So they are really personal. You do have to connect with them. So a lot of people will name their instruments. This is an Alpine learning guitar. I don't know if you can see it. So I thought Alpine, and I thought of this professor I had in college, Ingrid Schaefer. Little Ingrid was in the chicken coop, hiding from the Nazis. She was really cute, but she was a German woman, and she had a cute accent, and so I don't know, Alpine, Sound of Music, I don't know, that's what inspired me. So this guitar is Little Ingrid because it was like a little, it's a little guitar, right? So it's like a children's guitar, and I just like kept thinking of Little Ingrid in the chicken coop. Interesting story. I think she, like her parents weren't Nazis, but they had like Nazi friends, and I think she was in the chicken coop and she saw like a Jewish person hiding or something like that. I wish I could remember the story better. She passed away a few years ago. Yeah, but in memory of Ingrid Schaefer at USAO. Hi there. I have trailed off. Okay, bye there. I don't have a name for my electric guitar because I actually played on another guitar that broke its neck. The pieces are somewhere. I just have to repair the neck, but it's one of my favorite guitars. But anyway, that one's not really named. I should play it more. I I think I either got my amp stolen or I sold it for, how did that happen? Or I sold it for money, you know, but don't have my amp anymore. I think that's all I have to say about guitars right now. Trying to think if I will forget something after I get off of here. I always do. It's like I always forget um, forget some sort of small aspect. Something that's interesting is I might talk about it on another video, but my throat opened up today, or this weekend. My ears opened up. I've been having ear trouble. This one's been clogged, but it's been opening up this weekend. My voice has been opening up. There are certain factors which I might talk about on another video, but it's interesting. It got me really excited to play again because one of the things that stopped me was like I was so clogged and like I was very pitchy in my voice partly because of that clog, but I think my throat was doing some strange things, but now it's sort of recalibrating back to normal, and I'm excited about that. Anywho, thank you again for joining me. If you have any questions about guitars, then you'll have to ask me on another video because I turned the comments off. I turned the comments off because I will have these videos available on Patreon, and my Patreon subscribers can comment over there in that forum, but that's one of their perks, right? So you only get to comment in the lives. But always a pleasure, always a pleasure. I will see you next time and love you very much. Bye.